Hey, welcome back, everybody, to another segment of Tech Tuesday on the Educational AD podcast. We're going to be right back with this week's tech guests, but as always, we're going to give a shout out to our sponsors. Now, these are all companies that I used as an athletic director. They're all great companies. You should be using them too. So take 3 minutes, listen to our shout outs, then listen to our Tech Tuesday guests, then go and visit these sponsors. I'm telling you, you're going to be glad you did. Here we go. We want to say thanks to our good friends at Hometown. Hometown's your trusted partner in growing school revenue with powerful websites, ticketing, and fundraising tools that bring your community together for unforgettable hometown experiences. Go to hometown.com. You're going to be glad you did. We also want to say thanks to Sideline Interactive, indoor score tables and video boards. Would you like to raise $10,000 a year or more from sponsors? Go to sidelineinteractive.com. Check out their indoor score tables and video boards. They're great for your game day experience, but they're also great for securing sponsors. That's sidelineinteractive.com. We also want to say thank you to our good friends at Huddle. As a football coach, I used Huddle for years. As an athletic director, I made sure our school was a Huddle school. Your coaches are going to love the tools, your athletes are going to love the videos, and your parents are going to love the streaming, but there's so much more. Join the 8 million users. Go to Huddle. Find out how to turn your school into a Huddle school. We want to thank Vital Signs Wall of Fame. If you're looking for a really cool way to display your school record boards for all the teams, for all the different events, or show off your school's Hall of Fame, go to Vital Signs Wall of Fame and take a look at their interactive touchscreen video consoles. Put one of these in your gym lobby. It's going to be a magnet for kids, coaches, parents. How about sponsors? That's vitalsignswalloffame.com. We want to thank Home Campus. Home Campus is the official high school sports administration software platform for Florida, for California, other states, and thousands of ADs. And it's a platform you're going to use every single day, whether it's scheduling, rosters, or results. For me, the athletic eligibility and clearance platform alone is a game changer. Go to homecampus.com to get started. We'd like to thank Ohio University and their online masters in athletic administration. My assistant AD, along with thousands of others, got his master's through the Ohio University program, and it was a great experience. Go to Ohio University, check out their online masters. You also complete 11 NIAAA leadership training courses while you're getting your master's. Check it out today. We want to say thanks to our good friends at Snap Mobile, particularly Snap Raise. Have you ever spent weeks and weeks with a fundraiser and been disappointed in the results? Those days are gone. Go to snapraise.com. We used it at our school with tremendous success, and so will you. Go to their platform, check out all their other great suites. But if you're looking for a fundraiser, you just found it, and it's Snap Raise. We want to thank our good friends at Gipper. Go to Gipper.com. Start creating world-class marketing content for your school's social media channel. It can range from an entire newsletter to a simple social media post recognizing a big win, but the team at Gipper will have you creating world-class social media content in seconds. It's so easy, even I can do it. Go to Gipper.com to get started. That's Gipper.com. And we want to thank Athletic Surveys by LifeTrack. At my school, we use surveys for everything, student athletes, for coaches, even parents. And the information that would come back is almost always over the top positive. We also got to hear from those squeaky wheel parents and address their concerns before it turned into something big. But having that 98% approval, having all that data was incredibly valuable, especially when you're visiting with a frustrated parent, or maybe your principal, or even your school board. Go to athleticsurveys.com. They're going to create a custom survey that lets you take the pulse of everybody in your program. It's athleticsurveys.com. Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Tech Tuesday on the Educational AD podcast. We're going to Texas today. We got a couple of guests. We're going to be visiting with Cadie Evans. Okay, she's an athletic director in the Austin area. We're also going to be visiting with Jameson White from Hometown. You know, Cadie is a very satisfied hometown customer. You hear me talk about hometown every week or every episode, really, on the podcast. So Jameson's going to talk about some of the great aspects of the platform that are available to you as an AD. Cadie's going to talk about how they use it, but let's start with Cadie. Cadie Evans, welcome to the
Hi.
Educational AD podcast.
Hi. Thank you very much. Just to correct a little something, I'm not the athletic director. I'm the administrative assistant to the athletic director. So I'm the one that coordinates and helps to work with hometown ticketing and make sure that our events run smoothly and that our ticket campaigns get up on the website and on our internal box office. And I work in Eanes ISD, which is located in West Austin. We're a smaller school district. We have one high school, but we are a large high school. It's a 6A size high school with approximately 2,800 students. We have two middle schools that we also have feed into our high school that we use hometown ticketing for our events. So two middle schools feed into one high school, and it's a 6A high school.
Well, again, I actually thank you for making that correction. I had that in my show notes. I'm just so used to saying AD. Yeah, I mean, in some ways, you're even more important than the AD because your boots on the ground. You're doing all those things, that really make the machine run smoothly. Absolutely. And again, what was the ISD? I want to make sure I've got that
Yes.
down right.
It's Eanes ISD. You spell that EAN like Nancy, ES ISD. And our high school is Westlake High School, so that's confusing sometimes. But the ISD is Eanes and the high school is Westlake.
Oh no, that's I think kind of a Texas thing, the independent
Yeah.
school district logo. Jameson, let's go and hear a little bit about you. What's tell us your life story in 60 seconds and how'd you end up at hometown?
Oh, that's a tall task. Yeah, no, great question. So I initially got on with Hometown right out of college. I had just started in grad school, getting my master's in sport management from the University of Florida down in your neck of the woods. Um, and yeah, it's been quite the ride seeing Hometown grow and getting to work with schools literally all over the country, where I started in Texas and then moved closer to the West Coast, doing New Mexico and California, Colorado, some in Washington. Now back strictly in Texas, and where I was traditionally just the customer success manager, so helping the day-to-day for all of our schools. I've worked with hundreds of them at this point. Now I'm the product expert, so I work alongside a lot of our senior customer success managers. And now I'm handling the day-to-day, going back and forth with our schools, basically setting them up for success, training them on whatever they need, and making this truly a one-stop shop solution for anything and everything: athletics, fine arts, extracurriculars, whatever they need. I'm kind of the guy that wears all the hats.
Oh, no, and I'm glad you kind of mentioned that. It's a great segue into our next segment. When I was using Hometown 100 years ago, before I retired, it was, and it still is, I think, the leading digital ticketing provider for schools and colleges. And it was a great platform. Our parents loved it. It just worked very well. Now it is more of that one-stop shop. Cadie, how did you get involved from the school perspective? How did the school get involved with Hometown, and what are some of the ways you're using some of those other features of the platform?
Yeah, so we, as probably a lot of schools did, we started digital ticketing with COVID when we moved from needing a digital platform instead of handing paper tickets to folks and folks handing those tickets to us. We actually started our digital ticketing with a different company. And it was a good experience in that we transitioned to that digital experience, but we were finding a lot of the fan experience wasn't great with that company. We could set up the ticket campaigns in similar ways we do with Hometown, so that was pretty similar. But the experience on the fan side was very different. With Hometown ticketing, you have an internal box office that feeds right into your website that makes it really easy for our fans to find the tickets they need to purchase. Whereas with the other company, we were having an individual QR code that would access to each event. So there was a different QR code for each event that we had. That was quite time consuming, confusing for our customers, and created another task I had to do every day, which was get the QR code to the visiting team and get the QR code to our coach and try and communicate the QR code at the gate for anyone buying a ticket at the gate. And then when you went into the purchasing process, you had to write a book to purchase a ticket. You know, you were typing in so much information that quite often some of our older guests would log out before they could get all their information typed into their telephone and buy a ticket. So some of the payment structures, we were unable to use Apple Pay. We were unable to use debit cards. So really, we were having a lot of issues with our fan experience at the gate that made us look around a little bit. So we looked around at some of the other school districts in our area, asked for their recommendations, what their experiences were with the other platforms that were out there available to be used, and settled on hometown ticketing.
Yeah, boy, I'm hearing you go through those litany of, let's say, challenges, and schools have a lot of choices out there. There's a lot of people in that space, and again, you and I, we both know the features and the ease of using the hometown platform. Jameson, I don't know if you were at ground zero when Cadie School was starting using hometown. But what is that experience like? I think athletic directors are by nature a leery group, very cautious about trying something new. Can you talk about the ease of starting that relationship, because that's what it is, with hometown?
Yeah, 100%. I know Katie and I worked very closely, especially as Westlake and Eanes got on with hometown, I guess a little over a year ago,
Mm-hmm.
almost a year and a half ago at this point. And it was, a lot of conversations on obviously Westlake high school football is big time football in Texas, and season tickets are one of the major things that any AD will tell you, especially in Texas, like you have to get that right. And that's part of our duty as, the experts that work at hometown to be able to make sure this is a smooth transition. We have a step-by-step process that helps do that. And so I look at it as, as we head into season ticket season and peak season for a lot of our schools. Granted, Westlake had really done a majority of their lead work a couple of months back, but that's a lot of our job, is to be able to make life as seamless and easy as possible for every school that we work with. And that's something I take great pride in doing, at least personally, but I can vouch for everybody on my team that has the exact same thing. We have countless meetings every week, processes, things we're doing to always try and innovate and get better and make sure that what we have is the premier solution on the market. And having been in this industry now for as long as I have, I've been able to see a lot of growth and a lot of that trajectory just taking hold. And it's great to hear that, even from Katie, that it's been a positive experience, and
Mm-hmm.
hear that almost on a daily basis from the schools we work with, which is really cool.
Yeah, and that's one of my memories too. I just remember it was so easy to get connected with my hometown account rep, and that's the communication is just so vital. Katie, you mentioned a number of times the fan experience. Since
Mm-hmm.
Westlake's become a hometown school, what kind of feedback have you gotten from your stakeholders about their fan experience with hometown?
Yeah, I can say really the best feedback is no feedback because people will let you know when there's a problem. I think the more schools that hometown onboards, the more familiar our fans get with it. We renew a lot of season tickets every year. We have a large stadium of about 10,000 and sell it out, many weeks out of the season, and have a lot of season ticket holders that have to renew their tickets, and that went really seamlessly this year in year two for us. So yeah, I've heard nothing but honestly compliments and positive feedback, but really just not much feedback at all because people are happy.
Well, and
Yeah.
again, for our listeners, we know, Texas football, maybe even a little more so than Florida football, but in Texas, Westlake High School, boy, if if you're not familiar with that name, Westlake High School, you just Google it and it'll knock you off your seat. So obviously, one of maybe even the top high school football program in the state of Texas is a hometown school. Uh, Jameson, you work with a number of clients, obviously, and you're kind of supervising the supervisors. What's some of the feedback that you get, either directly from the schools or from the account reps that you work with, about the satisfaction rate of the customers, that fan experience?
Absolutely. Well, and to be completely honest, like we're in the middle of doing our end of year reviews, especially as the summer's kicking off, and really, June is when a lot of our ADs and the secretaries we work with, anybody in the athletic office, they'll get off of the month of June and pick right back up in July. And so, as we've been doing this end of year readings, that's one of the biggest things that we like to ask really anybody we're partnered with is, how would you rate this partnership? What feedback can you provide us? What updates or things to the platform do you think would be beneficial? And having jumped on, well in the dozens of these, the vast majority of them are like, this is a 10 out of 10 partnership. And this is something that makes our life easier. And I say that hopefully not in the most humble way for hometown and on behalf of hometown, but it's something we get time and time again. And, anytime we get these one-off ideas on how to improve the platform, we have our systems and processes to be able to take it back to our product team and update. I mean, even last week I was talking with Katie's colleague Kate on an update in the box office and how the events are created, and they had found a loophole might be the right way to describe it, and we were like, oh cool, this is something we haven't noticed before. Took it right to our product team, and it's coming out our next box office update. So just one of those things where, as we have this direct relationship with the people that are actually using and actually servicing with the hometown platform, it's up to us to ultimately continue to optimize it and continue striving for those 10 out of 10 feedbacks.
And that's great to hear that when you get that positive feedback, makes you feel good. But, again, you want to make sure that we're, not just maintaining it, but how can we do things better? Cadie, I know that you've also ventured into the concession aspect of hometown. Was that a hard, I don't know if pivot's the right word, but was any challenges in going off in a slightly different area using the platform?
No, not really at all. So for our stadium concessions, those are run through our PTO, and they kind of do their own thing. But when we are inside our field house and for our basketball tournaments and basketball events, we can use Hometown for our concession stand that's inside that our sports boosters run. So our sports boosters run the concession stand. We get it set up for them so that all the items and price amounts are ready to go. And the great thing about Hometown is you can have the revenue of tickets go one place and the revenue of concessions go another place. So we're able to set up the revenue stream for those events to go directly to our booster group. So we're not having to trade money after the fact. And so that's a really convenient feature.
Now, I know our CFO. I was at a private school. Just loved the hometown and the accounting and everything. Is it safe to say there's no more cash boxes at your school district?
Yeah, we have one emergency cash box for that person that doesn't have a phone, or like I said, that elderly fan that just is really stressed out about entering the stadium. And we do have a few of those, but it's almost never now.
Yeah, and that's certainly a good idea. Jameson, I know the hometown platform has certainly grown over the years, and there's a number of other features. You mentioned the one-stop aspect, fundraising, website construction, and a lot of others. What are some features that you think are really cool besides the ticketing and concessions that you can share with our listeners right now?
Yeah, 100%. So there's a few things where, like you said, where we are traditionally always just ticketing. Now we are this three-pillar platform, and I like to look at it as even broader than that, to where originally School Funder, we had partnered with them about a year ago, almost a year and a half ago, and we're really helping drive that to our districts and talk about, this is going to be the lowest, possible fee solution, the most revenue back to the school solution in the fundraising space. And as of December, we'd fully absorbed school funders. So then we added that second pillar, and then it opened up Hometown Engage, which is our website design hosting platform that is completely free for our customers to use. So it's truly one of those things where, as many different spaces in the sectors we can get into, it seems like we have really honed in on the ones that are most important when it's school funding or school fundraising, and the ticketing platform, concessions, and now the website hosting, really trying to provide this like one-stop shop digital solution for everybody we work with. And I'm sure as Hometown continues to grow, we're going to continue to have to figure out ways to innovate and find different ways to make Cadie and the rest of our partners' lives easier. But that's a few of the things we do. And ultimately, having worked with as many schools as I have, I've seen all kinds of crazy ways to set up the platform. And I think the craziest one I've seen to date is setting up a live auction through the Hometown platform for one of their PTA meetings. And that was pretty intricate, but it was a fun little project to work on. And, we get real creative over here.
I'm putting you on the spot right now, but on average, from that initial inquiry from that athletic director or that administrative assistant that inquires about the platform, from that initial inquiry to, hey, we're up and running and we're loving it, what's the usual, if you can, turnaround time for a school that might be interested?
Well, that's a great question. I mean, I've seen some of them done same week. It really depends on how hands-on the school district is, because obviously whenever you take on a new platform, sometimes that's something that has to go to the purchasing director, it has to go to the business office. And really it depends on how quickly all of those things come together. But even as especially with some of our PTAs and booster clubs, and maybe some things that are just basically that step removed from the school district itself, a lot of those we get turned around and set up within 1 to 2 weeks. And it's something that they can really get to taking advantage of ASAP.
Katie, I think I touched on this earlier, but for your school there at Westlake within the Eanes ISD, what are your memories of those initial, startup days or weeks?
Sure. We kind of like Jameson said, I think the slowdown is on our end. We were cautious in doing it. Obviously, we had a lot on the line. We need an effective digital ticketing platform and just wanted to really think it through. So actually, I sort of planned out a multi-month onboarding process to make sure it happens, because not only do you have to investigate the product and interview and work with Hometown to find out the features and if it can function the way you need it to function, but then we also wanted to do our due diligence on getting references and from other school districts, and then we had to go present what we were thinking was going to be the contract to our business office and see how they felt about it. And then we had to work with our communications director to communicate with our fan base in Westlake Nation that we were making this change, because they were used to seeing a different ticketing company. And then you have to think about what's going on the website. It's a complicated switch when you're dealing with the larger operation, and a lot of people that are used to purchasing season tickets in a variety of sports. So we were cautious about it, but I would say maybe about 3 months we got it all done and decided to make the change and build our stadium and all of our data into the Hometown platform so that we would be set to launch our varsity football season ticket campaign and then all the sports after that.
Yeah. I mean, and that sounds very reasonable, because you mentioned there are a lot of moving pieces to it. But if you've made the decision, you start that in spring, you've got spring and summer to get it going. And as you said, you want to be ready for fall sports, not just that Westlake football. I love that Westlake Nation. Okay.
Westlake Nation.
Katie, you were actually sharing with me that the Hometowns, they're going to send a team to Westlake. What's that all about?
They have and will again this year. We were really, really lucky to have their support as we started our first year with them last year. I guess was it last year or 2 years ago, Jameson? No, 2 years ago. Two
Yeah.
years ago. So when you have, I also manage game day staff, and so when you have those ticket scanners ready to work at a stadium, when they're working with a brand new platform and some of the features Hometown offers, like being able to look at guest list on the spot at the gate and some of the features that our ticket takers can use, they were willing to come to our first large event and help our ticket takers, train them, and be with them so that they were comfortable with the scanning process. And they make that offer to come back every year. If we have a large event we want just their guidance on, and they will be coming back to an event this fall as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, to her point, I think one of the, the biggest things, the more I hear about what you do, Cadie, the more I think about how many hats you wear, but also how impressive it is you continue to find ways to like have all your bases covered. Because it feels like every time I talk with you, I can maybe have a question, you take the words right out of my mouth and already get to answering. So, but no, absolutely. I think that's a great point. Granted, I'm in a fortunate position where I live about 20 minutes from Westlake High School, so it's easy for me to just get in the car and head down over there. And I know myself and my one of my former team leads, Olivia Burns, who we're just on different teams now, but she's in the same boat. We're 15 minutes away, and so always happy to do that. I know the last couple of years we've been able to help with trade days for season tickets,
Yeah.
but then also, being out there on boots on the ground for the first, I think it was the first home football game last year.
Yep.
Went to, and then I think one or two others. And this year, obviously the big, is it the Lake Travis game?
Lake Travis
Yeah,
is home. Mm-hmm.
absolutely. So just being able to do that and, again, just being able to pride ourselves and be able to wear many different hats and be able to train. And, realistically, even when it comes to training people on how to use the gate app and scan people in and sell tickets, it's really something that takes about 5 minutes to do. But, being able to provide that support, I think I can almost just see the shoulders, kind of roll down whenever they're like, yep, we can take a deep breath and know that, all right, this is all right. It's going to be good. And now it's smooth sailing from here.
Well, let's go ahead and jump to the chase. If one of our listeners wants to find out more about how they can utilize the hometown platform, or, Cadie, your thoughts as an administrative assistant, what's the best way they can get in touch with you?
Yep. So my email address is C like cat Evans EVANS at Eanes EAN like Nancy ESISD.net. And yeah, I'm happy to answer any questions or point someone in the right direction.
Okay. And Jameson, what's the best way that someone can get a hold of you and maybe even get started with the hometown platform?
Yeah, absolutely. So whereas right now I'm just a product expert who's also been a customer success manager. If y'all have any direct questions, I mean, I'm happy to answer them at jameson.white@hometown.com. But for the most part, if you're in a place where you're like, hey, hometown sounds cool, let's get started, would highly recommend going to hometown.com. There is a book a demo option because we have people all over the country. So depending on what region and corner of the country you're listening from, that would be the best place to go. That way we can get you connected to the right people, and ultimately get you going with hometown and get a partnership there.
Well, Jameson, Cadie, thanks so much for coming on Tech Tuesday and sharing your experience. All the best as we, get into the heavy summer months, and then off to a great fall start. Go Chaps, right? Okay.
Go Shops.
Uh,
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Jake.
Hey, for listeners, we want to say thanks to you and remind you that we upload the Zoom recordings of every interview to the Educational AD Podcast YouTube channel. We do Tech Tuesday just about every week, and just about every day we try to share stories and best practices from the world of athletics. So please come back and join us again on the next episode of the Educational AD Podcast. We'll see you next time. Before we go, of course, we want to give a shout out to all of our sponsors, including Hometown. Go and visit the website, hometown.com. Find out all the great things they can do for your program. Let's say thanks to Ohio University. Their master's in athletic administration also includes 11 NIAAA leadership training courses. That's Ohio University. Home Campus. It's one of those platforms you're going to use every single day. Go to homecampus.com. Sideline Interactive, indoor score tables and video boards. Go to sidelineinteractive.com. We want to say thank you to Gipper. Turn yourself into a social media marketing expert with help of the Gipper team. That's Gipper.com. Vital Signs Wall of Fame. Display your school's athletic hall of fame or your school record boards. That's vitalsignswalloffame.com. Snap Raise. If you're looking for a fundraiser, you just found it, and it's Snap Raise. We want to thank Huddle. I used it as a football coach, as an AD. We were a Huddle school. Go to huddle.com to get started. And Athletic Surveys by LifeTrack. Start taking the pulse of your parents, your student athletes, your coaches. Go to athleticsurveys.com. Thanks again for listening. We'll see you next time on the Educational AD Podcast.